Veranda Societe.
What product placement?
Yeah, I
This.
love it. I love product placement. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Yes, here we do
Yeah,
it.
cheers!
Pumpkin spice, baby.
Cheers!
Spice up my life. I got like a little private message. So
Oh,
Euphoria Wellness Spa, they have the Canoe Cafe. They're like
yes.
Bucky's certified. But oh my God, did you see that they launched like a whole new patio on the rooftop called U4?
No, I didn't know that. I've seen I've been on the patio, but
Megan, you got to go back. She's like totally redone the whole patio. There's like this big bar on top. It's gorgeous, like just gorgeous. She's got like this feature wall, all these. It'll be a huge spot for sure for weddings, events. I can't wait to have an event there.
oh my gosh. Well, I married myself for one of our challenges. I should have done it there.
You could have your honeymoon there.
That's true. I could. I could take myself to the spa there.
Treat yourself. You've guessed it. Tiffany here from the Peterborough Chamber of Commerce, and we are live at the breakfast table. I had to calm myself down this morning because we have a local celebrity with us today.
It's an oxymoron if ever I heard one.
Not even local. You're like a big time celebrity. You've made a documentary movie that has won awards. The list of things that you have achieved in life is just remarkable. You're just an inspiration. I adore you, and I'm grateful for your time today, my friend.
Well, ditto, and you're just hired as my personal agent and make me feel better person. Because if you can just hang around and say nice things to me, that would be great.
You know what? I'm a great hype woman. I am fantastic.
I know you are.
You know,
I have to say, I saw you on the sidewalk. When was that I ran into you on the sidewalk and screamed your name?
Middle of pandemic, and you were being a porch pirate because you were dressed up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So it was like, yeah, it was in the fall. No, it was in like March. And I lose my mind when I see you because I just think you're so great. I fell in love with you before I knew you from the interweb, and Stu Harrison is a mentor and a dear, dear friend. And I was like, who is this girl you've got? She is incredible. And he's like, oh, I know. Like, I have a crush on her. And then we met through the Excellence Awards, and I was like, I have a crush on you. I think you're so funny.
I'm like sweating.
So it's that, I feel like that about you. You just have such a zest and a joy that comes out. And when you're online, you're so authentic and genuine, but you get to know the real you, and there's nothing put on about it. You are wonderful. And I don't know, I just have a big girl crush on you.
Stop fangirling over each other today.
So good.
Enough about me, Megan Murphy. I have questions for you, my friend. I'm hoping like some of these questions maybe you've never been asked before, so we can get some info from you. So first and foremost, I have to know, how long have you been in Peterborough, and why did you choose to settle and do business here?
Well, I mean, I know you're not going to believe this, but I'm 42. No, I know. You can't believe it. I know. I was born and raised in Peterborough, and then I left for university. I went to York, so I left at like 19, and I stayed in Toronto in the GTA for about 15 years. But I always had a footprint here, and I came back when I was 35 when my life fell apart. But I never left. Like, my family was still here. I still worked in radio here. I did that commute from Toronto to Peterborough at 3:30 in the morning. So it was, I never fully extricated myself from Peterborough. I just can't. There's something, Kate Sir has a song called Something in the Water. And it's true. There's something in the water here. It's the people, I think. I just never fully left. So I'm back now. It's been, oh my God, I guess almost 7 years that I've been back. And I love coming back. And I love coming back as an adult. Like, I left as kind of a kid. And I'm almost an adult now. So I like being back in Peterborough now and experiencing this town and this city as an adult. It's different.
It's funny that you say that, because out of the people that I've kind of sat down and interviewed, I hear that frequently. And lots of Peterboroughians that grew up here do. They leave here for a bit and then realize how amazing it was and come right back to settle down.
Yeah, there's something that is, hey, whoa, don't use the word settle down. Whoa. I'm never going to do that. But
no ball and chain for you, Miss Meg.
But I think there's something really special about this place. And there's stuff that needs to be fixed and changed, but the heartbeat is good.
I agree. The heartbeat is good. Yes. And that even the still sense of community, right? And taking care of each other.
That's my favorite part. And like, we did our Veranda Society show. But that's all about community and building community. And I think that that is what, and it came out of the pandemic in Peterborough and Peterborough County of what is really important and what do we really cherish and what is really special about this place is the people and that sense of community and the small, simple acts of neighborliness that I think are so essential to where we're from.
Yes, I was talking to a new member a couple months ago, and she had relocated from Toronto area, and she said, I can't believe it. My neighbor brought in my recycling bin the other day. It's what
Yeah,
we do, you know?
it's true. It's great. And there's the flip side of that too, because I hear from some newcomers, like my family on my Murphys and stuff are not from here, but the Galvins are
Oh.
from Ennismore and came over on the boat and blah blah blah. So that, sometimes there's that idea of like you're not a real townie until you've been here for 200 years or so. And that idea we got to get rid of a little bit of like I'm really proud of Peterborough, and when there's someone new here, I'm the most annoying neighbor who's like, welcome, come in, we love you, get in here, like.
I bring them a welcome gift.
Yes.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
And then they don't trust you. They're like, I'm really unsure of what this is all about.
What does this lady want?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been in theater, what, your whole life?
Yeah, I think I started, I was a middle child of three girls, so I was probably like, someone pay attention to me. Anybody. I had great teachers in high school, and I was terrified, but I started in grade 9. So Jane Werger, Charlie Werger, Patricia Young, and they all still do stuff through the Theater Guild. They helped save Market Hall. They're incredible people, but they encouraged me. And I didn't know that I really wanted to be, I didn't know you could be an actor or in a theater. I grew up in a family of lawyers and nurses, and like, so being an artist was a weird thing, but they were supportive. And I applied to programs both in theater, but also I wanted to like save the world. So I thought I could save the world through art. So
You
I was like, I'll do
are.
international relations and theater, and and maybe medicine, and maybe like, so I've always wanted to be like everything. But I did theater and started a theater company in Toronto with some friends after graduating, and then worked in the not-for-profit and worked for the MS Society and ran some of their fundraising programs in the Ontario division and did lots of different things, but theater and performance and all of that was always in the background. And I just think it helps every other thing you do.
So would you say it was really those three teachers that kind of influenced you to be in this direction?
I think so. I had incredible teachers. I think it was just the people. I remember, okay, when I was in grade 10, I auditioned for a play at the Theater Guild. It was called Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, Jimmy Dean. And it was made into a movie, and I got the part of the young Cher. So she was this like voluptuous, which was not true, and saucy, she was doing things in the cemeteries with boys and doing stuff in places. And my parents, I grew up like pretty strict Catholic upbringing. And my parents were like, no, you're not allowed to do it. Like, you're ruining my life. I have to do this. This is my calling. And my parents were like, no, because your grandfather can't come to this based on the language you have to say. Like, no, 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 no. So Jane Werger was the director, and she called my parents and said, I think you should let her try and do this play. And I sat there like, ding, 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 ding. So my parents said, okay, but we had to do like a family pact to lie to my grandpa. And so I got to do the play. And then eventually, like when I went to university for theater at York, the plays got way more risque. And my dad was like, that first play was not such a big deal compared to this.
You're in Pippin.
Exactly. So Jane Werger, like those kind of people were like, I think she should be in this. You should, even having the guts to call my folks and say, I think you made a mistake. She should be in it. So I think I had people cheerleading me.
Yeah. Did grandpa ever find out though? And like, what was the storm if he did?
Well, it just would have been embarrassing, I think. But my grandma came. My grandma loved that kind of stuff. So my grandma was like, bring it on. Like, this is a big family secret to not tell my grandpa.
Oh my God, that's all.
Megan says the word sex. Yeah.
Families that lie together stay together.
Exactly. It's exactly that. For your own best interest, Grandbetty.
So you seem like a natural kind of in whatever you do, whether it's fundraising for the United Way campaign when you were chairing their board, whether it's your radio personality, jumping on TV interviews, whatever it is. You do lots of public speaking.
Mm.
So like 95% of this planet has a fear for public speaking. I
Mhm.
thought maybe while I had you here, I could pick your brain and see if you maybe had any advice for those of us listening that could use a little nudge to just get over it and do an interview, do a video.
Yeah, just don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, my older sister Kate, she's a teacher, and she always laughs because she's like, I would rather run naked down George Street than do what you do. I'm like, okay, fair enough. And vice versa. I'd rather, no, I can't be naked in a classroom. That would be rude. Yeah. It's funny because people think that because I do this for a living that I don't get nervous, and that is a lie. I get nervous every single time. Every single time. Really nervous. And there are times like we just finished our Veranda Society out in Millbrook, and there was one show where I was so nervous. And there were a couple people in the audience that were making me really nervous. And I was so it was in my head, and words were coming out of my mouth, but I was not conscious of what they were and where I was in the play or in space. And it's such a discombobulating feeling. It's terrifying. And you kind of find your way to the lines, but I'm making it up a bit. And that's where you rely on some technique and whatnot. But every time I'm scared. And so there's no one who isn't, and anyone who isn't shouldn't be doing it.
They're lying. They're totally
Yeah,
lying.
yeah. I think that for me, part of that is that I'm a bit addicted. It's a bit masochistic, but I'm a bit addicted to getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, it's a hit for sure.
Yeah, and to think like this, when I get too comfortable, I'm not on my edge. I'm not on my game. So I need to do something to shift it and shake it up a bit. I think one of the greatest fears we have is that we'll look stupid. And that's really not a great fear. It's really not that important.
No.
And if that's the worst case scenario, then you're doing fine. So for me, when I was working in radio, we started this, I embarrass myself all the time, like all the time. And so we started a bit called Public Humiliations with Megan P. Murphy. And it had like a little theme song. And like, because there were so many stories of like, you will not believe what just happened to me. I put my foot down my throat so far. And so when I stopped taking myself so seriously, everything got a little bit easier. And I do remember a lesson my dad taught me when I was young. He said, if you're the first to find yourself amusing, nobody can make fun of you. And so I don't really, unless I'm going to die, that's the worst case scenario. And even then I'm dead. So who cares? So there's nothing you can't come back from. It's not that hard. It's not that embarrassing. It's not. And the worst case scenario is you get a really great cocktail party story out of it.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my God. Excellent advice, Meg. Thank you. I was just kind of blown away there. And I think you're right. I think nothing fuels success more like that fire that burns inside you. That's like, I got to get this right. I want to do that. I want to do a good job. I want to, and I feel like that kind of really pushes you to be nervous too. Right. But also I feel you when it comes to nerves and kind of being on your A game. If I'm like super calm before an event, then there's a serious problem. And do not give me the microphone.
Because you're so right. You're not paying attention the same way. And I think that's the funny thing about performance as well, that mixes in with things like mindfulness. Improv does this. I think everyone should take improv because it terrifies me every single time. But it makes you pay attention. It makes you be present in the room, in the space with the people that are there. And when our fears come from when we're worrying about something that's not happening. So if you are staying exactly in the moment, nothing bad is happening in that exact moment. And if you acknowledge, like, I've done this even when I'm doing gigs of like, I am a little nervous. Anyone else? Like, even when we did the Veranda Society, it was 40 degrees. We're doing the show. Halfway through the show, I leave for a bit and Kate starts doing a song, and I checked myself in the mirror and I was sweating so badly that I had armpit stains like down to my belly button. My back was drenched and I had to go back out on stage. And I thought, well, I have to acknowledge how disgusting I am because the audience can see that. And so as soon as I was like, broke that fourth wall, I'm like, anyone else notice this? And then everything gets easier because you stop taking yourself so seriously. It puts everyone at ease and calm. And then you're all in one space together. Yeah.
Right. They see you as a human being. And it's like, oh, right. They're not a robot. They sweat like
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. They stink too. Isn't it
Right.
nice? Yeah.
We're all just filthy humans at the end of
Is
the day.
exactly it.
So you've won awards. So one of the really cool things. I mean, you've done so many cool things, but one of the things that I look at frequently is your movie, a Murphy's Law film. What happened? What triggered you to be like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna tell the story of my dad taking his biking journey in Ireland, and kind of what triggered that sequence of things to happen?
Well, my whole life fell apart. So, and sometimes when your life falls apart, it puts you directly on the path of where you're supposed to be. So it was my 35th birthday. My mom had died. My dad died when I was 25. My mom died. And I ended my engagement. And so I moved back to Peterborough on my 35th birthday from the GTA. And I moved into my childhood home. And on my 35th birthday, I remember ordering like a pizza to the door. I was wearing my deceased mother's oversized pajamas that had like a sheep hopping fence on the front. And we'd put in a stair glide for my mom before she died. And I got the pizza, a bottle of wine. I sat in the stair glide and like,
Oh my God.
and got into bed and watched like cheesy movies, crying, grease on the chin. And I was like, if this wasn't my life, this would be a great scene in a movie. And so it was after that, as I was cleaning out some of my parents' house, I found these journals of my dad's, and they were tucked inside of it was actually a biography on John Diefenbaker underneath the stairs in an old box. And I was gonna get rid of this box of, no offense, John, I just didn't want to read it anymore. And so I was getting rid of the box of stuff, and I saw the edge of these journals sticking out. And I knew as soon as I found it, it would have been my dad's journal. And so I knew my dad when he was 26, in 1973. He'd taken his bike and ridden around Ireland, and he'd kept this journal, and it had been like a very transformative time for him. And he thought he'd lost the journals in a fire because my parents' house burned down in the 70s. But I found them, and I knew it was a sign. And I had his old bike in pieces, sort of in the rafters of the garage. So took the bike to Wild Rock. They fixed it up, and I was almost annoyed because I knew from the universe, like, and from my dad, that this was a sign of like what I needed to do. And I had these old cassette tapes of my dad's. Before he passed away, my sisters and I recorded conversations with him within the last 2 weeks of his life. And so we had his voice with messages. And even on that, he said, you've asked where you should travel. Ireland, always Ireland. Like, there were just too many things. And so within 6 months of, my birthday was in January, and by July, I was gone to Ireland and doing the trip. So it was both like an artistic thing because I figured I needed to do something, but it was definitely a personal, soulful, like, I need to save myself. I have lost that pilot light. I am losing myself. And maybe if I retrace my steps, I can reconnect with some essence of who I am. So I had no idea what I was doing. And that was part of the joy of it. I hadn't been on a bike in 25 years. I had never shot a feature-length film. I had never shot overseas. I didn't have all the funding. I was just like, how hard can it be? Very hard.
The answer is very, very hard.
Very hard. Very hard.
I just have so many questions. I could probably talk to you for hours about this. Oh my, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is. The universe sometimes, sends us signs. And okay, before I go on to my next question, I just really, did you have like a full film crew? Who was shooting this? Was it you and some friends?
No, I hired a woman I went back to school when I was 30 for documentary film. And so I had hired the teacher who taught me cinematography. Cool. And so I called her, and she'd had obviously experience shooting overseas. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And she'd lived in Ireland for a bit. And so she came on board, and I hired an Irish sound girl who I met when I was over there. So we'd done like a Skype interview thing. And then my aunt and uncle came as my crew. So they drove the van for the production. And then I had the cinematographer with me for 10 days. And then I was 12 days on my own. And then at the very end, my whole family flew over and met me for the final leg of my journey. So there's a chair to my dad's memory on the most western tip of Ireland. And my family met me there, and I cycled to the chair. And I hired an Irish cinematographer. He was amazing for the last few days. So he was a bit of a like throw it against the wall and hope it sticks. And then when I got home, it took me like 2 years to filter through everything and figure out what the hell I was going to make out of this story. So yeah, it was pretty, and it was a lot. And I was hoping when I was there, for the top of the mountain moments of like, I am now enlightened. And I did not get that the way I wanted to, but I definitely did later. Like,
What
yeah.
a journey. I didn't realize that it took that amount of time after you got all the footage to put it together and get it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do things in a more intelligent way and organized, where they like plan things for a long time beforehand. But because it was my life, it was actually happening. I'm like, I don't have 2 years. I have to go now. I have to go now. And I have to make something of this because I can't be the only person who's felt like this. There has to be something for other people out of this story, because I am so lost in grief and I was so desperate for other people's stories of how they survived that I was like, there's a universal heartbeat here that has to have some resonance for someone else. So I didn't have time before I left to figure out like, oh, this will be the plot points. So I was figuring it out as I went.
Wow. Sometimes, you know what? Gold comes out of winging it sometimes too, right? Like sometimes
Yeah.
you just got to take the plunge, I feel like is what they say. And you're still, scared and navigating it as you go. What does Stu always say? Build the net, jump and just build the net on the way down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So if we want to watch Murphy's Law film,
Yeah.
where can we stream it? Where can we watch it?
murphyslawfilm.com, and you can get it online. Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. We will be watching again this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. I truly could talk for hours with you over everything that you've done, but your Peterborough focus, your local focus, I have to know, coming on the other side of this pandemic, of course, we've always been local lovers, but where have you been shopping lately? Where are you getting your takeout from? Who are you loving locally? Shout out some of your favorite businesses.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just spent a fortune at SOS because I love them. And Shelby.
Did you see the star email they sent out? They have all these like sweaters that have these adorable stars on them. I need to get a Herschel backpack at SOS too. I've been eyeing them up for, sorry, I totally cut you off.
Oh, no, I know. Oh, she's got such great stuff. I was just in there the other day and I spent a bunch of money. So that was really fun. And she's also great too, because you can bring in pieces if you don't know how to make things work. She'll even come to your house and you pour wine or Prosecco, and she can help you go, here's what you need to make this piece work, or to put la, la, la. This is what you need in your closet. Yeah. So
she's brilliant.
So I love them. Hi Ho Silver was just in there as well. I even bought, oh my God, I bought Golden Girls is my favorite thing in the world. And I bought a Golden Girls puzzle in there the other day from Glenda.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's happening.
I love her sassy pieces with her mugs, and there's a few bracelets with some sassiness on it.
Oh, I love. And my around the corner from them on, of course, there's Watson and Lou Plant Goals, and my other big favorite right now, almost twice a week, I would say, I go to By the Bridge for lunch. So By the Bridge is so good. They have great fresh salads and amazingness there. And then you exit through By the Book, which is Tucker. Every time I go, she laughs at me because she's like, another book? Every time I get lunch, I get a new book because I have a book problem. I have a bad book problem.
So are you the type of person though that like buys a lot of books and maybe like collects them but doesn't read as many, or are you reading them as you go?
I read as I go, but I also collect lots, and then I read like 4 books at a time. Wait, I have to get something. Please hold. This just got dropped off. Wait.
Please continue to hold. Megan Murphy will be with you momentarily.
Wait.
Your viewership is important to us. And we're back.
Dropped off on my porch from Hunter Street Books. Michelle Berry's new book. Everything Turns Away. It's her brand new book, and I'm so excited for her. I pre-ordered, and it just got dropped off on my porch.
Yes, excellent.
Local writer, local store. I love her.
Love local PTBO. We are here for it. We are also here for ChamberAM happening next week, Tuesday, September the 14th, 8 a.m. Meg, you've agreed to be our speaker on Tuesday. And can you share maybe just a snapshot of why people should tune in, maybe what you're going to share with us?
Yeah, because this is my morning voice, so you'll hear that. And I'm going to talk about how you can be a successful failure because I have been that for many years, and how you can learn to take yourself a little less seriously, and how you can inject a little more perspective and shift your perspective a little more fun and not take yourself so seriously.
Excellent. Get out of your own head with Megan Murphy, Tuesday, the 14th, Chamber AM. Megan Murphy, you are delightful. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and thanks for my breakfast.
Thank you. Oh yeah, Canoe Cafe. We didn't even talk about what we actually got. So of course we said pumpkin spice season is here. I'm gonna open up my bag here. We'll show our.
Me too. I'm like a ravenous little. I'm just ripping it.
They make pumpkin loaf. So of course fall was in the air today. Pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin spice loaf. I think you have like an apple something special. Yes.
What does that sound?
Right, a delicious happiness. A hungry tummy, maybe.
That sounded like, remember the Fisher Price farm and you close the door? That's what I just sounded like. Really sorry about that, everyone.
Oh God. Oh yes, pumpkin spice. It is delicious. On the Funny Farm, catch us, Peterborough Chamber of Commerce, Chamber AM. Love local, everyone. Love Megan Murphy. Follow her on social media. Register for Chamber AM. It's going to be a blast. We'll do it once around the room and then we'll hear from Megan. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And thanks again, Miss Meg.
Thanks, Tiff. I love you.
Cheers to you.